Okay, so let's just talk about the hashtag #MeToo movement.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on it?
My immediate thoughts on the Me Too movement was I love that it's empowering women to talk about things that maybe they ordinarily would be hiding. I think it's coming from a really good place. And I noticed that on Instagram and social media, everyone kept like hashtagging Me Too, like telling their stories. But then the narrative sort of changed. It seemed like people were sort of like kind of saying things that didn't really seem like it was predation. It seemed sort of like these comments that like being told to smile, like I think that is annoying, but it's not necessarily equated with like sexual assault. And I sort of felt bad for people who had really gone through something that was deeper rather like, aligned with rape or sexual assault, and, we're sort of making a hashtag out of something. I didn't want to join the group. And so, I don't know, I sort of feel like Me Too has kind of taken on this whole movement, and I think it's a pervasive movement, but I think Me Too is sort of being very selective in the things that they're choosing to I don't know, they're kind of being a little bit more selective in who they're going after. And I don't know if and what specifically. And I think there is a fine line between nuanced flirtation and sexual harassment.
I think it's one of the most amazing things that happened this year. On one end of the spectrum, it's very upsetting to see how many stories and how many troubles that women have gone through. But on the other end of it, I think a lot of women always knew that this was happening. So it's this great thing that's now coming to the surface and coming to light, and we're finally getting believed, getting to be able to talk about it in like a safe space where people are brave enough to say, hey, this is what's going on and something needs to change.
I think it's been, obviously it's a really important thing that's happening right now, and it's really interesting to see how different generations are like taking it on and their view from it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I'd have a chat. I don't know if I told you. I had a chat with my mom about it because I made a little statement on social media because I wanted to commend those who have come forward, as if my words matter. I wanted to show support. And then share my quick story just about me being a part of the LGBT community and that it is a part of that as well, regardless of what gender you identify with. And then my family kind of took it on as more of like I don't know how to describe it. They were more worried about like, oh, what happened? Why didn't you tell us about this? And I was like, okay, well, the point of the movement isn't to tell me all the details because this happened to someone that I knew, and like it's more about just identifying the fact that like it's happened to so many people and we're all a part of that community. It's not like the best thing that it created a community, but it is at the same time. It sucks that it had to even be in existence. Okay, yeah. And I've been thinking a lot about how people are saying, well, why all of a sudden, which is
like
obvious, yeah.
Or coming out the woodwork.
Yeah, why? Because all at once. I remember from the very beginning me being like, wow, that's really weird that like these specific people that were being accused of like harassment or rape, like all of a sudden it's popping up, and then like it kept happening, and by that time you're like, okay, no, like this isn't just like, I'm just gonna say something because I want a moment. It's always been happening. So now we finally have the means and also like emotional means of like coming forward to say something because of this community that we built. Yeah. All because of, I think, Me Too.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that we live in an age where there is social media and things going on that other people can see others coming out, not feel so alone, give their Me Too story. Without that, like previous generations, it was like you come out with something like that and you're either going to get destroyed in a courtroom or they're going to destroy you like in a newspaper or something. So now you have like groups of people that can support each other.
Yeah. So do you think without this movement, women would feel empowered to come out with these accusations or just telling their story if it wasn't for the hashtag #MeToo movement?
That is huge. It's, I think it's one of the biggest things that's happened this year, like better things, because you get none of those stories would have come out otherwise. If there was no social media, half of those people, obviously they wouldn't have known that the other person had done this, and if they did, they may not have wanted to.